KWT slaying.
Salama family, salama. How y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. Mr. Tell you say hi to the family.
Salam family, peace and blessings.
So we're going to talk more about the financial side of things today. And you know, a lot of people like, well, what should I do? What should I do? Where should I put my money? Well, you know, how should I move? Right now, I'm gonna say up front, I'm not giving financial advice. Okay, I'm not giving financial advice. I'm gonna tell y'all what I think and how I move. Because see, I believe the scriptures, right? So since I believe the scriptures, I move according to how I think I see the scriptures. Now you move how you believe you see the scriptures and how the Most High leads you, right? And you know, I'm gonna say up front, I am not the best person to take financial advice from. So as I said, this is not financial advice. It took me a long time to figure out how the world works. I used to believe I could make it if I work hard. I used to believe if I get my education, I'd be successful. I'd have a Fortune 500 company. I'd be the next Microsoft. Not. I didn't know the system was designed against me. Right? Any comment before I start, Minister Tate?
You got me laughing. Yeah, the system doesn't work like we were taught. The system is in the hands of a few, and they're promoting an agenda. But let's go.
All right. So as I stated, I'm a scripture man, right? I'm a Bible man. Not the Bible answer man, but I'm a Bible man. But let me do this right quick. Close off some of this stuff because it's messing me up. All right, let's see here. Oh, I hate this browser sometimes. Let's see here. Hold on. Do it the old-fashioned way. That way I know I'm closing the right stuff. All right. So I'm going to share some scriptures before we get started. And we're going to talk about what's going on in the world and how I'm moving and how, you know, I think we should move. And I'm going to say this also, you know, I get a little frustrated when people tell me, well, you know, you're inciting fear. I'm waiting on the Most High. And I say, wait, that's what you should do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You do what he tell you do. That's just simple, isn't it? All right. So Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. I believe what we're seeing here today is the beginning of the wealth of the wicked being stored up for the just. Now, we all know about this, right? And we're going to talk about this. And it all depends on your view about the dry bones, right? Ezekiel 37. The hand of Yahuwah was on me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw a great many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. He asked me, son of man, can these bones live? I said, Sovereign Lord, you alone know. Then he said to me, prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of Yahuwah. This is what Yahuwah says to those bones, to these bones. I will make breath into you and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am Yahuwah. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together bone to bone. I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. So this is where we're at now. We got these bones making noise. We got the Israelites waking up, making noise, even here and on the continent, right? We have these bones saying, let's come back together, right? But there's no breath in it. There's no life yet. Then he said to me, prophesy to the breath, prophesy, son of man, and say to it, this is what Yahuwah says, come breathe from the four winds. Now, who's scattered amongst the four winds? So that life comes into the nation, into the continent, into our new nation of Israel. It comes when we go back to the land, that breath of life. So come breath from the four winds and breathe into these slain that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood upon their feet, a vast army. Then he said to me, son of man, these bones are what? The people of Israel. They say, our bones are dried up and our hope is gone. We are cut off. Therefore prophesy and say to them, that's to you, Israel, this is what Yahuwah says, my people, I'm going to open your graves and bring you up from them. Okay, so he's going to open our graves and bring us up from our graves. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. So he's going to bring us out of the nations where we were scattered from the four winds. We are the breath that's going to go back, right? So then you, my people, will know that I am Yahuwah when I open your graves and bring you up from them, right? He's going to bring us back from the land where we were scattered, because that's our graves, right? I will put my spirit in you and you will live, and I will settle you in your own land. Then you will know that I, the Lord, have spoken and have done it, declares Yahuwah. One nation under one king. The word of Yahuwah came unto me, son of man, take a stick of wood and write on it, belonging to Judah and the Israelites associated with him. Then take another stick of wood and write on it, belonging to Joseph, that is to Ephraim and all the Israelites associated with him. Join them together into one stick so that they will become one in your hand. So the way I'm moving is in knowledge of the scriptures. I am moving in terms of what I know the scripture says, that the two sticks are going to come together. So I must be a part of that, right? I must be moving towards the two sticks coming together, which I believe to be those who are in the diaspora, who were scattered amongst the nations as slaves, coming back with those on the continent. All right, verse 18.
Well, what's interesting, I was thinking about that verse yesterday and basically came to the same conclusion that the dry bones and the reformation of a dead people really wasn't just us getting our identity back, but really it's the totality of us becoming a nation and having influence, right? Because we also, it says, we're a great army, right? So we're going to be influential, powerful, with the backing of the Most High, right? And so, I mean, if you believe these scriptures, some of our people are on the continent, right? We know the northern tribe is on the continent, and he said he's going to unite the two sticks. So what does that mean? I think he's doing what we see happening now. Some people don't like it because they love Babylon. They might, they get mad at you, accuse you of sowing fear because they're afraid, but in reality, not trying to see what the Most High is doing, not looking at his word to see what he has declared.
So I told y'all, I'm a Bible man. I believe the scriptures. I'll move with the scriptures. See, you say I have faith, but I'll show you my faith. What? By my works, right? Nehemiah started what? Building that wall. I'm building a wall. We're building a wall. Those of us who are of like mind are building the wall, which means what? We got to come together and work together. But let me continue. Verse 18, when your people ask you, won't you tell us what you mean by this? Say to them, this is what Yahuwah says. I am going to take the stick of Joseph, which is in Ephraim's hand, and of the Israelite tribes associated with him, and join it to Judah's stick. See, we got to come together, right? So we should be walking towards that. I will make them into a single stick of wood, and they will become one in my hand. Hold before their eyes the sticks you have written on, and say to them, this is what Yahuwah says. I will take the Israelites out of the nations, so right, out of our graves. I will take the Israelites out of our graves, which is out of the nations, where they have gone. I will gather them from all around and bring them back into their own land. So that's those breath. That's the wind coming back to give life back to the continent, give life back to the Israelite nation. I will make them one nation in the land on the mountains of Israel. What? The mountain of Israel? I wonder where that's at. Can we say sub-Saharan Africa? There will be one king over all of them, and they will never again be two nations or be divided into two kingdoms. That hasn't happened yet. They will no longer defile themselves with their idols and vile images or with any of their offenses. For I will save them from all their sinful backsliding, and I will cleanse them. They will be my people, and I will be their God. My servant David will be king. Can we say Yahusha? My servant David will be king over them, and they will all have one shepherd. They will follow my laws and be careful to keep my decrees. They will live in the land I gave to my servant Jacob, the land where your ancestors lived. They and their children and their children's children will live there forever, and David, my servant, will be their prince forever. I will make a covenant of peace with them. It will be an everlasting covenant. I will establish them and increase their numbers, and I will put my sanctuary among them forever. My dwelling place will be with them. I will be their God, and they will be my people. Then the nations will know that I, Yahuwah, make Israel holy, when my sanctuary is among them forever. So I wanted to read that again because a lot of y'all like, okay, well, what should we do? What should we do? How should we move? What should I do with my money? Right. And so the way I move, I told you, I move according to the scriptures. And so we should be uniting. We should be coming together. A lot of people think we should just be sitting on our butts and doing nothing. Right. I'm waiting on the Most High. I'm going to wait for the gathering. Ain't nothing required for me. I just got to wait here. I just got to twiddle my thumbs. There's nothing required of me. You do you, and we'll do us. We're coming together.
As the dollarization of the international economy is gaining momentum, this is spearheaded by powerful countries like China and Russia. At the recent state visits by Chinese President Xi Jinping in Russia, President Vladimir Putin indicated that they're in favor of using Chinese currency for trade in other parts of the world, like Africa, Asia, and Latin America. The Kremlin has been slapped with a raft of sanctions by the Western world for invading Ukraine.
Для нас была и остается тематика торгово-экономического взаимодействия.
A serious incentive for the development of trade and investment cooperation is the expansion of the practice of settlements between our countries in national currencies. According to the results of the first 3 quarters of last year, the share of ruble and yuan in mutual commercial transactions reached 65% and continues to grow, which allows us to protect mutual trade from the influence of third countries and negative trends in global currency markets.
Отметку в 200 миллиардов.
Another BRICS country, India, has indicated that it's putting into place a mechanism for international trade settlements in rupees. The Indian currency will allow New Delhi to bypass using the US dollar in case of sanctions. India is also a major buyer of Russian arms, and Indian refineries have started paying for most of their Russian oil in other currencies rather than the US dollar. Meanwhile, Kenyan President William Ruto has unveiled a plan to deal with the dollar crisis.
As a government, we have made innovative intentions and undertaken innovative strategy to ensure that we ease the burden of availability of dollar in our market. We just concluded last week an arrangement, a market-driven arrangement in our fuel sector that will see Kenya access all our fuel needs on a deferred 6-month credit. That will eliminate a demand of $500 million every month from this market. And therefore, for the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses.
As India gears up to host the G20 summits later this year, and the issue of currency recognition is set to dominate the discussions among the influential economies.
So we see that there's a de-dollarization. That's what they call it. And so, you got people telling you all things remain the same since the father fell asleep. America's the same. Ain't nothing's changed. Oh, we have a recession. No, we've always had recessions. No, this is economic warfare going along with the hot war over there in Ukraine and Russia, right? This is a economic warfare where people are aligning themselves with either the East or the West. Africa is aligning themselves with the East. Understand this, that the dollar is done. Stick a fork in it. Oh, Yacoba, you're so negative. What I told you, I'm a truth ministry. Sometimes you're going to like the truth. Sometimes you ain't going to like it. Sometimes you think all I need to do is just sit here and do nothing. No, the ant sees the the ant prepares, he puts his stuff away. Joseph prepared for the famine, they put their stuff away. You can't be just silly and out of your mind and think there's nothing required of you in terms of these plagues and these judgments on Babylon. It just don't make no sense. You have to prepare. You have to. Now, how do you prepare? I can accept that. I can accept. How do I prepare? And we're going to talk about that. Minister, tell you, any comment?
Yeah. Well, I mean, $34 trillion, that's a lot. And that's the American debt. And all of these other nations were buying their debt. Why? Because they benefited from it, right? It stabilized the world economy for a season. So both sides benefited, and both sides wanted to, benefit from the resources that this stabilized money allowed them to have, instead of having various currencies in different nations, different currencies from different nations. I mean, if I want to get something from Europe, I don't want to have a European currency or the pound, right? Just to get something. I don't want to have a Dalasi to get something from, where's that, Ghana, not Ghana, Gambia, right? The Cedi, I don't have to get Cedis to get stuff from Ghana. So, I mean, they benefited by allowing America to make their currency the global currency. America took advantage of that because everyone relied on this for this system to work. So when America ran out of money, what did they do? Oh, I just print some more. Why? Because we depended on this system not folding, right? Not that it's a good thing that America gets to print all the money they want without having anything backed by gold, right? Like I was telling my brother, it'd be nice, when I run out of money, I just go print some up right quick. They're the only nation get to do that. Oh, I'm out of money. Let me print some up. I'm good to go, right? The rest of us go to prison, right? But what's happening is because of this contention with Russia over the Ukraine issue and how NATO's been pressuring Russia, Russia's using their allies to say, hey, it's time to switch currency. Let's stabilize our circle under a new currency. If NATO want to act like that, let's get away from their currency. Can you imagine once they successfully pull away, America can't recover. They can never print their own currency again. What they're trying to do to get ahead of it is the CDBC. Now, hopefully we don't move to that thing. But, it's not like I tell my brother. Everybody thinks that this thing is about money. Everybody think that the leaders and the countries they care about having money. No, it's about resources. There's a difference. Money is a tool to get resources and to control access to those resources. And it just so happens the one nation that has all the resources that should be Wakanda on steroids don't have any influence or power or money, but they got all the resources. Can you imagine the game that these people have been playing against the African people, let alone the world? Right? It ain't about money. Think about that. It's all about control of resources, but it's about control of resources in order to maintain influence over the direction of the planet. That's why they could go to Uganda and say, hey, I want you to pass this LGBT, what is it, BTQ law. I want you to pass that. And they're like, why? Because we control the world economy. We could cut you off, right? But you know what? Africa bold now because there's alternatives. That's why you just saw that video that Yakoba shared about the Kenyan president saying, look, if you still in the dollar, you're about to take a huge loss. The game is changing. Everybody tired of being bullied by Mystery Babylon the Great. And if you don't understand that America is Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, I'm sorry for you. There you go, Minister Yakoba.
So let me explain something to you all. So with the Bretton Woods Agreement, they were pegging the dollar to gold. Then in the 1970s, they pegged the dollar to oil. Now, even though people need oil, it don't matter no more. There's new sources of energy. They don't need oil, right? Everything is going electronic for a reason, right? They need all of those resources from the continent. They need those minerals from the continent, right? Now they're still going to use oil, but the plan is to limit the amount of what they call fossil fuels. And because they're using this whole idea of fossil fuels, and it's just a talking point to gain control of resources. This is why they're talking about earth changes and stuff. And not, earth changes happening, but we know it's judgment. But it's all about control, as my brother said. So we moved from a gold bag to an oil bag currency, and now we're moving to I wouldn't even call it fractional, because right now, with the dollar, you have fractional reserves. All of that's gone. It's going to a centralized system. Right now, if you own anything, which you never really will own, I'm talking about in the Western Gentile nations, you're going to a system where you're going to own parts of a resource, right? Remember, I told you in my Market of the Beast video, that's over on Odyssey, that we're going to tokenize everything. And even so, oil is a resource, gold is a resource, silver, everything is a resource. Humans are resources, especially you Negroes, right? They still think we slaves, and they plan to give us a chip, which is a mark of the beast, right? But everybody's going to own something only fractionally. And so the system, the beast system, will control everything, right? This is the goal. So how do we move? Go ahead, Mr. Ted.
Yeah, I'm just going to add that's what climate change is all about, right? As if climate doesn't change, right? They the ones told us about how the planet was frozen and dinosaurs died and all this stuff. They told us climate changed, but now somehow climate is not supposed to change. It's not supposed to get hot. It's not supposed to get cold. It's supposed to be a perfect 70 degrees. And if it's not, it's your fault because of carbon emissions, right? What this is about is centralization of control of global resources. That's what climate change is about. It ain't about the weather. Yeah, the Most High is moving against everyone. Yes, he's judging these nations with floods, tornadoes, weird weather, right? But it's not about that. What they're doing, if you want to understand climate change is about centralization and control of resources under a global system.
So here's the thing. Should we take the CBDC when it comes out in July? That's sort of towards the end of the show. But basically, if it's not the market of beast, you're going to sort of be forced to. So my strategy, and I'm putting it out there a little ahead of time, I'm trying to get enough of resources so that I can do something on the continent, so that I can buy property on the continent, get dollars based upon, whatever country I'm gonna move into, right? My goal is to move towards that Ezekiel 37 unity, right? And so that's what we're talking about doing with Brother Karras and them and Oral and Mike, right? As well as the Dry Bones Project, every one of them, right? That's my plan. But I believe there's a transitional period. I tell my brother this. He's not too sure about it, and he can talk for himself. But I believe there's going to be a transitional period, right, for us to use things, because they're not going to just come out heavy-handed right away. That's just my opinion. They could, but they got it all planned. They got the 15-minute cities. They got all this stuff where you're going to be basically in an open-air prison. This is the goal.
Well, my view, I mean, when it comes to CBDC, within my being, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to be a part of it. But if overnight my money rolls into that thing and I need to use it to get out of the country, I'm just going to use it to get out of the country.
That's it.
But if you understand that the other nations are forming their own currency that's backed by gold, it may not initially in those other countries be digital. Now, if they let China be the head of this economic system, I think we could end up in a worse situation than that CDBC, because China already acting like the Antichrist.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that for real.
Yeah, but I'm saying as far as Africa, they can't get to where China and America is overnight. But that's the plan. At some point, when the elite think they control the world resources under this climate change initiative and all that, when they feel comfortable that they control Africa like that, they'll raise Africa's living standard and put them in that digital currency and that social scoring system. But the Most High has other plans.
In my opinion, there's only going to be one free place on this planet, and that's Africa. Ain't no other place going to be free. I know they told you the beast going to control the whole world, but no. Africa going to be the only free place. It's the Gentile nations. You saw the statue? It's those Gentile nations that's going to be under lockdown forever.
What they meant for bad, the Most High meant for good. That poverty they kept Africa in was to protect us from what's coming. Yep. Right? Because the African infrastructure is free from what they're trying to set up right now.
But you notice a lot of people trying to keep you away from Africa. Oh, you don't need to move there. Oh, don't put your money there. Oh, don't invest there.
Then what's your alternative, Mr. Jacob?
Huh?
What's your alternative if you don't go to Africa?
To go along with the beast system.
You're going to be part of the beast system. And you're going to be part of the judgment that the Most High going to put on that beast system.
All right, I'm going to share this. There's some Israelites out there in Rwanda. I'm going to share this.
Some blessings to you, family. Today we're getting ready to go on a little stroll here on this cloudy day here in Rwanda. However, we'd like to discuss some of the turn of events that have taken place, namely the downside and decline of the US dollar. How is that going to affect those of us of the diasporas, the countries on the continent of Africa? Stay tuned. But meanwhile, be sure, subscribe, like,
and share,
and comment.
Yo, I like the beat. Let me break it down for you. Let me tell you, got it going on here. I like that beat.
Greetings, peace and blessings. We are the Mohammeds, the residential tourist. 85 to Africa. We are living in the after. And this morning, it's a beautiful morning, although it's not as sunny.
Middle of rainy season.
Yeah, we woke up this morning and it was bright and sunny, but quickly, very quickly, the clouds came in. However, we thought we'd still go on a stroll in this lovely African country called Rwanda.
So today we have some deep thinking questions that we want to talk about.
Yes.
How does it affect the diaspora on the continent? How does it affect Africa? How does it affect our home continent?
Right.
The falling of the U.S. dollar.
So you probably are aware, for those of you who are paying attention, to the news, that the U.S. dollar is in great question. It is in the position of on the decline. It is falling because of some decisions that have been made by many countries, many major countries, and Africa has, as a continent, has begun. Not all of Africa, but some major countries on the continent have begun to follow suit. Kenya being one of them.
East Africa in general.
East Africa, really, true. East Africa. In fact, you have the East African community that has actually begun in federation, if you will. And so they are looking in terms of trying to establish a single currency, as well as some West African countries who have begun to do the same. In addition, you have some African countries who are beginning to no longer import oil from outside of the continent, utilizing their neighboring countries, which is Zambia, right? And Angola. So,
and reason being is we learned that the U.S. had an agreement with Saudi Arabia,
right,
to they're only allowed to use the U.S. dollar to back for their oil. So any country that was getting their oil from Saudi Arabia had to purchase it in the U.S. in the U.S. dollar, which is pretty much the most high value you can at that time get for the price of oil. So now that the decline of the American dollar, Saudi Arabia is like, we're about done trying to please the U.S. We're going to take our oil out of the U.S. dollar, which changes everything for the world, really.
For the world, because the USD was the dominant currency. It was the dominant currency. There was the, as my wife was saying, it was the currency. He's watching this. It was the currency that was utilized to buy the oil and many other things. But because of the relationship or the lack thereof of the U.S. and its African countries.
Oh, we have to go this way?
Oh, yeah, we can go this way. Then it has been brought into question if, in fact, these countries want to maintain that relationship. Okay. And other countries, namely China, who has established seemingly a better relationship with the African countries, they seem to be having more favorable results. And so the question is, how does that affect the decision of those of us who are looking to come to the continent, right? And also, let's step up here. with that, there's an understanding that, this is our experience. We mentioned it before that many of us look at those from America as the cash cow. It was that USD, it was that American dollar that, seemingly for them had a certain level of value. But if or when it declines or doesn't have that perceived value, then what? Now what?
So like countries like you want me to try?
Please. My arm is hurting.
Countries like Tanzania, where the US dollar was 2 point something times the value, it changes. So sometimes 2.2, 2.1, whatever it is, you'll go to Tanzania and say you want to spend $40 US dollars, you're going to get about 84 Tanzanian shillings for it. It's going to be twice the value. It was twice the value. So we'll come from the continent like, wow, we can get a lot of money for our US dollars. You can go on vacation with $200 and get 400 and something T shillings for it. So you're thinking, okay, we're going to have a nice trip. Cost of living, we're going to go over and pay 300 US dollars for monthly rent over there, because it's 600 and something T shillings. Well, all of that is going to change.
Possibly, potentially.
It's going to change.
I mean, it's going to change, but we don't know, which way it's going to go, good, bad, or indifferent.
Brother trying to keep a positive attitude. No, it's going to change, and it's changing for the worse for most people.
You see?
Well, so what does that mean for us that rely on the U.S. dollar?
That's the part.
Right. So even here in Rwanda, where the Rwandan francs and the U.S. dollars are pretty much almost equal. I don't have that much strength.
I got it.
We're pretty much almost equal. I think $1 is. I think the dollar then dropped to 10.52. So 1,000 francs, which is $1 for us, is like $1.52 for 1,000 francs. So the value is pretty much the same here. It doesn't affect us, the diaspora, as much here in Rwanda, as we already been paying cost. And but other countries, it's going to make a major impact.
Sure. For
the U.S., everyone's going to be real healthy soon, because everybody's going to be riding bikes because the cost of fuel. If Saudi Arabia cut their ties with America,
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. But see, the thing is that, it's really in the fact that these African countries are banding together, right?
Which is great.
It's great, man. It's absolutely great. I mean, you have, again, East African community looking in terms of developing, if I'm saying that correctly, themselves into a federation, which, removes borders.
That's great. Beautiful, long time coming.
And also a single currency to be utilized, which initially was set to be ready by 2024. However, they thought to slow the pace up a little bit just to make sure all the kinks is ironed out. So now, to me, from what I'm looking at it, it's empowering. And then you have West Africa, the economic community of West African states. I believe Ghana is part of that. I believe Nigeria. Ivory Coast. I'm not Benin. So it's a good number of them that's a part of that.
So I'm gonna put the link if y'all want to go listen to the rest of the video. They make a lot of good points. So I'm gonna put the link to their channel, to that video in there. You could go watch the rest, but understand that you can see what's happening if you have understanding, right? Biblical understanding, and you listen to the Holy Spirit, right? You see, as he said, they're uniting, they're coming together, right? Is that not what Ezekiel 37 said would happen, right? They're going to unite, they're going to become one nation, but the breath has to come. See, that's us, the ones who were in the graves. Go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
I was just going to add, in my opinion, Israel, the diaspora of Israel, you kicked this off. You kicked this off after 2019. The awakening kicked this off. The awakening gave the African leaders confidence. The awakening reached out to our people on the continent and said, hey, do you know what's been happening to us all these years? Oh, no, I have no idea. These people that you worship on the continent, they have been destroying us for 400 years. Oh, really? People's minds start going and they start changing their thinking, and then they see the threat and they say, hey, unity is the only way we're going to survive what's coming. So the leaders are feeling bold, especially after this Ukrainian-Russia thing, that they got alternatives. They might have some help that, to prevent them from being overthrown, to prevent the false flags that they have in in Africa, to prevent the assassinations of our leaders that try to help their people. Right, with the internet, it makes it harder for the cabal to do some of the things they do because the information gets spread instantly, right? So I think the leaders feel like, hey, this is the time, right? We got a spotlight on us. We got people watching us. So if the cabal or NATO, let's say, move against us, people can see.
But also understand that they have two big guns on their side to resist the overarching influence of the Western powers, right? The colonizers called NATO, right? So this is the time, if you're ever going to move against the current power, the system that dominates the world, Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots, or the whore, it's now, right? While you got people who can help defend you and fight with you, right? So that's why China is aligning themselves with Russia, right? If you're going to do something, you do it when you have everybody coming together. So apparently that's what we're seeing happening, right?
For the annual summit of the African Union with the aim of speeding up the implementation of the free trade area, despite a backdrop of the repercussions of the war in Ukraine and the persistent armed insurgencies. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement AfCFTA, billed as the biggest free trade accord in the world in terms of population, gathers 54 out of the 55 African countries, with Eritrea the only holdout. AfCFTA's plan is to boost intra-African trade by 60% by 2034 by eliminating almost all tariffs, creating an economic bloc of 1.3 billion people with a combined gross domestic product of $3.4 trillion. African countries currently trade only about 15% of their goods and services with each other, compared to more than 65% with European countries. If fully implemented, AfCFTA will lift 50 million Africans out of extreme poverty and raise incomes by 9% by 2035, according to the World Bank. But implementation has fallen well short of that goal, running into hurdles including disagreements over tariff reductions and border closures caused by the COVID pandemic.
So what we see here is the uniting of the continent economically. And so with the uniting of this, the African continent economically, is going to set them above every other nation, right? They have not even been trading amongst themselves. Now they're going to be trading amongst themselves. Most of the resources went out of the country. Why? Because of the colonizers, right? But here's the thing. France sees the writing on the wall, which is why France is now trying to make a deal with China, right, to buy things in yuan. So Africa is rising. And as the Kenyan president said, if you're in dollars, you better get out of it. Now, the question is, How do you do that? And we're going to talk about that. But when we see what's happening on the world scene, that there's an economic war going on, right? There's an economic war going on, and most people don't realize that. And when we see that China is rising, Africa is rising, Russia's rising, I believe some of these nations that will form what I've spoken of before, which is the 10-nation confederacy, which ends up giving their power to the beast. A lot of those nations that form that, 4 of those, in my opinion, this is my opinion, 4 of those nations are the carpenters that's going to kick the Gentiles out of Africa. And so a lot of people say, well, I'm waiting on the gathering. Look, here's the deal. Most of you all don't even know what the scripture says. You don't know how to keep it in context. You have no biblical revelation, no spiritual revelation. So you don't know how to move. And so most of you all think you're going to just sit there and wait and do nothing. But even in the first Exodus, you had to grab your goods, put them on the court, get the animals, put the animals together, and march your way out, right? You think there's nothing required of you today? You think you don't have to go and build the wall like Nehemiah? Some of y'all say, Nehemiah, come off that wall. Don't worry about Africa. Nehemiah, don't worry about it. You don't need to build that wall. Why? Because they don't want you to build your kingdom. They don't want you to build your empire. Why? Because a lot of people love Babylon. A lot of people love the comforts of America. A lot of people love Uber. A lot of people love DoorDash. A lot of people love all of the conveniences of America. But guess what? It's disappearing. And the other thing you have to ask yourself, do you want to be a part of the 15-minute cities? I don't think so.
Well,
go ahead.
Minister Yacoba, some of those trolls think that America's our homeland too now. So they quick to push against anything that deals with Africa, right? But clearly they are COINTELPRO operatives, because anybody with a sound mind clearly knows America's not our homeland. If you have a sound mind, you know this land here has nothing to do with the Bible, period, outside of being Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots. That's it.
So some of your questions I'm going to ask later on, but we're going to continue looking at what's happening economically globally. All right, let me put this up.
Yes, we are related. We are twin brothers.
So just so you know what's happening, right? Because some of y'all don't stay up on the news. Some of y'all still watching CNN and Fox and mainstream media, and you have no idea what's happening, which is why you think all things remain the same since the fathers fell asleep. Why you think your economic decisions is how you made your economic decisions, 5 years ago. No, this is a new system being put in place. You cannot make plans for tomorrow the way you made plans yesterday. Things have changed. You can't do what you did 10 years ago. Things have changed. And some of y'all don't get that.
Veiled the world's first digital currency from a major power. Currency that would not be printed, but would exist only in cyberspace on your phone, for example. Is the Fed working on a digital dollar?
We are actually evaluating that. Most major countries are now looking at the possibility of having a digital currency and really asking the question.
Imagine a government that creates money that has an expiration date. And if you don't use it, it'll disappear. That's happening already with the digital yuan, and Americans are rightfully skeptical.
President Biden issued an executive order to explore the creation of a U.S. central bank digital currency, effectively converting the dollar into a centralized digital currency.
The Federal Reserve just announced that it's about to show us its new digital payment system this year in July. This is having a huge ripple effect across the entire internet because the US dollar is in the process of being replaced by a central bank digital currency, or a CBDC. In fact, most countries around the world are creating their own right now.
What if I told you 90% now of the world's central banks say they're investigating central bank digital coins.
According to a report by Citi, by 2030, there will be up to 5 trillion digital dollars circulating the global economy. But there's a problem, because most Americans don't trust the government to do this. In the 1950s, for example, the era that was called the golden age of capitalism, when we had unprecedented economic growth and higher wages, a point in history far from perfect, but in 1958, Pew Research asked the American people if they trusted the US government to do what was in their best interest. And they did. That trust reached a peak of 77% by 1964. But over time, that trust has been gradually eroding, and today, that number has dropped all the way to 20. Only 1 out of 5 Americans trust the government to do this. And it's also why people like to use other forms of money like cash and even cryptocurrency. But right now, the government has their own idea for a CBDC, central bank digital currency. And this will have a huge consequence, not only on ideas like privacy, freedom, but even Bitcoin. So in today's video, I want to help explain exactly what this is, how this might work, and how this will ultimately affect us. So with that said, let's get right into it.
All right, I'll leave it at that. So basically, FedNow is an application that's going to be on your iPhone that's going to be made available in July, right? So things are moving pretty fast. And so my theory is, that you make the moves you can with what you have to position yourself to get the heck out of Dodge, right? Now, I understand of the gathering. I know the second Exodus. I mean, I was one of the first ones teaching about the second Exodus. So I definitely know about that. But you assume that you know how it's going to fall out, how it all is going to come together. You don't. You assume that you're going to be out of here before the 15-minute cities arrive. You assume that. Now, if you're happy, if you want to, live in a 15-minute city and scan in and scan out, and you can't go visit your mom in the next state or the next county, that's on you, right? That's on you. I'm not doing that. I'm not. I'm planning my way out. I'm trying to convince my wife to get the heck out of Dodge, right? Because guess what? You got to do it together. I don't want to be stuck here. That's me. You do you. I'm not putting fear in anybody. That's why I say, isn't it great that you have free will? You can make your own decisions. Isn't that wonderful? You don't have to do anything I tell you. I'm just showing you what's happening. I told you, right? This is a truth ministry. I tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. My brother will tell you, I'm not going along with the pressure. Because some of y'all want to try to pressure me to say everything's going to be fine. You're not going to have to suffer. You're not going to have to miss any meals. You're not going to have to, be homeless. You don't know what's going to happen. Yes, I trust the Most High, but guess what? He gave us his word. He told us what's coming. So if I believe his word, should I not move according to the word? If I see these things coming and I know what's going to be the end results of it, should I not use that because I have faith that the word is true, that I make plans for my life and my family's life? I'm just asking, Minister Tayu. I'm just asking.
Well, most of us suffer from Stockholm syndrome, right? Because we were the master stopped beating us with a whip. He used to beat us with a whip every day. Now the master stopped beating us with a whip, right? Because he don't have to beat us with a whip. Because we're not going to move, sort of like the dog that won't go outside the fence, even though the chain is not around his neck. He's been conditioned. He's not going to walk out the fence because he's been conditioned so well. The master don't need that chain on him anymore. That's how we are, right? We don't realize we're still in captivity because the master took the chain off our neck, but we still dead last. We still in servitude. All our people are in the servant class, except for the boule. Right.
So I'm going to share this. So we talked about FedNow. FedNow is coming out in July, and FedNow is similar to China's WeChat. Okay. So the question is, what is WeChat?
Hi, I am Lele, and I'm from Capital Shanghai office. Clearly, one of the biggest trends in the financial industry over the past few years has been the development of central bank digital currency, or CBDCs. It's designed to help countries move digital, have better control over monetary policies, as well as better prepare for the future. Although many countries are currently pursuing their initiatives on CBDCs, China, with no doubt, is in the lead and has rolled out its own digital currency, DCEP, with the initiative to be part of M0 and to replace cash in the future. It is also known as the eCNY. We have received a lot of questions from our audience as to how this eCNY app works. So we have put together this video to show you a bit more about the ideas behind China's DCEP, as well as how we use it on a day-to-day basis. Okay, let's get started. So let's first download this app and get it set up. The first thing you need to know is that this app is available in most of the popular app stores in China. In my case, I'm using an iPhone, so I can just download from the App Store. Now that it's installed, let's open the app and put in our information. I have registered with my mobile number, so here I will just log in with my number and password, and the main screen opens up. The app.
So you see, that's WeChat, right? That's what they're using, WeChat. So just wanted to show you what China's using right there. Let's look at a France 24.
Minister Yacoba.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what do you think about this?
Like Kenya and Pesa, WeChat is the same? Probably. I don't know about the Kenya app, but here's the thing. See, Kenya has more of an infrastructure than most of Africa. So can Kenya and South Africa be a part of the B system? It is possible, right? It's possible. But I think because of the African Union, right, and because of the influence of the other states that are not as developed, that the dictatorial aspects of it will not be as severe in those countries.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think, like, places like Tanzania, which is growing, and things like that, and even in Kenya, when you think about it, and even South Africa, there's still a lot of tribal areas that you don't have roads to, right? And so the burden of keeping people down through a electronic fence, let's say, right, isn't going to be as easy. And so this is one of the reasons I think they're not going to be able to impose that dictatorial system on the continent. Go ahead, Mr. T.
Well, I think I could be wrong, but I think the M-Pesa deals with digital currency transactions, but not social credit scores like WeChat. And I think WeChat, from what I understand, has every single app, including email, video,
everything.
I mean, everything is just this
everything.
one, huge app. So you don't have the alternative to download different apps that you think are better.
So let me share this with y'all.
They're constantly monitored by facial recognition cameras that are able to instantly put a face to a name. Now the Chinese are also ranked, given a mark out of a possible 950 points. A score in the 700s is considered good. Around the 500 mark is not. For now, the number is a sort of bank credit rating, keeping track of everyone's spending habits.
I think being ranked is a good thing. A society has to have rules.
It forces us to be well behaved.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it. And anyway, we don't have a choice.
But in an effort to keep all of its subjects in line, Beijing is taking the system a step further in 2020. It's aggregating data gathered by banks, private companies, and the state to rate if someone's a good or bad citizen.
By using the most data possible, the so-called big data, the system will play an important role in rebuilding a moral society.
The state will go over every detail of a person's life with a fine-tooth comb: their financial situation, spending habits, career, even behavior on social media. Criticizing the government online or displaying outward signs of wealth is a no-no. On the other hand, praising the party or giving blood increases your social credit. Xiao Wen Wang is a model citizen. She lives in Nanjing, a testing ground for social ranking. Married with a child, she has a job in a retirement home, no debts, and she wouldn't dream of jaywalking.
As a good citizen, I respect the rules of the road. If I didn't, I'd lose points on my social credit.
In theory, everything can be taken into account in the social score, even the most innocuous errands like supermarket shopping. When Xiao Wen Wang makes an electronic payment, her purchases tell the state a lot about her. Buying cigarettes would count against her. On the other hand, nappies show she's an attentive mother. Beer could indicate alcoholism. She'd be better off buying water. In this pilot city of 8 million people, there are only 18,000 model citizens. For Xiao Wen Wang, there are perks to be had, such as paying half price for the bus.
I get discounts for all public services, even at museums. And the library is free for me, thanks to my score.
A good score brings benefits, but people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens.
It's a matter of principle. Those people have to be condemned.
Those people aren't honest, so they have to pay the price.
It's only right to pay your debts. You have to blacklist those that don't.
The Supreme Court has created a blacklist for so-called bad citizens, those whose ratings have dropped to 0. On it are companies, but also 23 million people to date. Among them is this journalist Liu Hu. He got a little too close to uncovering corruption among high-profile party members. After being sued for defamation by the subject of a story he'd written, he was blacklisted. He only realized when he tried to buy a train ticket and was told he was banned from traveling.
So this is what you have coming with Vietnam. I know they didn't tell you that, but China's the model for it. But because we have the scriptures, we can sort of see the future. We can see the mark of the beast coming, right? Pretty much here. And Lollipop was a test run as well for the mark of the beast. China's doing their test run for the 15-minute cities, right? So when FedNow comes in July, it's going to come in, we no longer have paper currency no more. It's all digital. You can just swipe your card or swipe your hand. You can go to the store. Nobody can rob you anymore, because, it's all digital now. And if you need to transfer some money, it won't even cost you because it's all digital now. So you can transfer money across, internationally to people. But guess what? What they're not telling you is they're going to control what you buy, when you buy. Oh, you know what? I like steak. Well, you know what? Based upon your social credit score, and you don't have enough of points, you cannot have steak. Oh, because you have, some kind of disease, the state has decided you can only eat grass, right? Oh, you know what? You want alcohol? No, you can't. I don't drink, mind you, anymore. But you want alcohol? No, you cannot have it because, you're going to appear to be an alcoholic. You notice all of the Chinese people there, they were saying the right things, right? Oh, well, they're bad people. They're really bad people. And that's why, their faces are up there. They're bad people because if they did what the government told them, they'd have a nice credit score, a nice social score, and they wouldn't be in trouble sitting in timeout. But because they are bad people, which means they want their freedom, they want to have free will, right? Now it's a problem. Look, y'all know Yacoba. Yacoba gonna be on the bad boys list. You know this. Minister tell you gonna be on the bad boys list. Y'all know that. Minister tell you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going along with the system. I don't like it. I abhor it. I feel like I have no liberties, no freedoms, no rights. I can't even make my own decisions because my credit score is going to get knocked down. So I can't have biblical opinions. I can't say thus says the Most High anymore, right? Because my credit score is going to get to the point where I can't even take a ride on a bus. I can't rent an Uber. I can't buy food. No. And for those of you in Africa, if your system is going to turn out to have social credit scoring built in, I would resist them with everything I have. I'm just putting that out there. This is something that should not be allowed. If you allow this, you are completely owned and controlled by the beast system.
So I'm going to share one more scripture. James 5. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. For your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields. Can we say slaves? Can we say Negroes? Can we say Israelites? Which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of the Sabbath. So those Israelites who did not get paid for their labor, they were slaves crying out to the Most High because y'all won't give us reparations. Can you hear me now, you CRT deniers? Can you hear me now, you people who are all against wokeism? Can you hear me now, all you Gentiles who are against reparations? The Most High is against you because we're crying out because y'all keeping our money from us by fraud, and he's going to judge you for it. We have lived in pleasure on the earth and have been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Be patient, therefore, brethren, until the coming of Yahuwah. Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth and had long patience for it until he received the early and latter rain. Be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of Yahuwah draweth nigh. I'm going to leave it at that right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link out there because I know some of y'all going to have some questions, right? What do we do? How do we move? All of these things, right? So I'm not going to pin it. So, yeah. So, Minister Tay, you're going to have to leave in a bit, fam. So if you got questions for him, you better get on now. But as for me, I'll be here a little bit and we'll, answer a few questions you have. So I know one of the things, people ask, what should we do? How should we move? And for me, I think you should have a short-term plan and a long-term plan. The short-term plan should be getting your resources together, forming alliances with people of like mind, which are Israelites, right? Planning how you're going to relocate, where you're going to relocate to, because you're going to have to do it, right? At some point in time, you're going to have to leave this place. I don't care what nobody tell you. And half of y'all love Babylon. So y'all be like, ain't going to change. I'm going to sit here, blah, blah, blah. All right. You need a short-term plan. Gather some gold, gather some silver, right? Prepare yourself to leave. Work with people like Brother Karras and Oral and them, right? Work with people who can help us plan our move to the continent. Because I read Ezekiel 37 to you, and Ezekiel 37 tells you we're going to unite. All right. Any comments, Mr. Tayu?
Yeah, not at this point. Go ahead.
All right. Hot sauce.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
All right. How's it going?
Good. Great topic. And this is something that we really need to really focus on. But there's okay. Yeah, so the dollar is definitely you're going to devalue. I think it's going to be some time before we see the dollar devaluing compared to African countries because it's still a developed nation. You're going to see it more against European and Asian countries first before it gets down to that. You definitely have to have an African plan. I have my African plan, right? I have a farm in Naivasha, Kenya. I don't know if Kenya is the plan for everybody. It's just that where I have relationships with, And I think the first thing you need to do is step one, to build relationships, because you need the local people. You absolutely need the local people to kind of fit in and help you and guide you. That's what I did. As you guys know, I lived in China. I do live in China, and I met a lot of Africans here and start bridging relationship with them that helped me get over there. So now I earn money in Kenyan shillings, with M-Pesa, things like that. But you gotta take action. You absolutely have to take action now. It's time.
Brother Hot Sauce, question. So you
Sure.
mentioned the M-Pesa. I did a little search, and I also asked Chat GPT. There's no indication that
Mhm.
M-Pesa has social credit scoring. Not that it can't
No,
be
it doesn't.
implemented.
It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. And also, okay, there's a difference. There's a difference between digital yuan and WeChat payment. WeChat payment does not have a credit score, right? Because like we use WeChat payment for literally everything. You don't carry cash. It's mobile payment, but that doesn't come with a social credit score. The digital yuan, that app that you guys played, that's a different app you have to use, powered by WeChat. That has a social credit score. For foreigners, it's not available. It's only for the local Chinese. So I can't say much about that. But
But
foreigners
that,
do have two mobile payments, Alipay and WeChat Pay.
so I mean, you mentioned that there's an app within WeChat. So wouldn't WeChat have credit scoring, social credit
No,
scoring?
because WeChat is owned by Tencent, which is a private company. Uh, Digital Yuan is owned by the Chinese government. It's just it's just some it's like the back end is powered by WeChat, but it's 100% belongs to the government of China,
Okay.
where WeChat is not.
All right, thank you, brother Hot Sauce. Pride of Judah.
Shalom. I had a series of questions, and you may not be able to answer them. So since there's so many people on the live, maybe they could offer up a resource or a referral or something. But my question was regarding currency exchange. To your knowledge, are there any restrictions on converting the US dollar to other currencies? Are there some countries that are not accepting US dollars in exchange? And if there are countries that are still accepting the US dollar for exchange, what is the procedure associated with that? Is that something you can do at your local branch, or how is that handled?
Well, I think it's my understanding that you can exchange currency if you're like traveling to another country, like for vacation. There's a limit. I think there's a limit though on how much you can get.
10K.
What's
10K.
that?
The limit
10,000.
is
Okay.
10K.
Yeah. So there's a $10,000 limit. But at least you can just, I mean, and it's at a higher rate. So like, it's not dollar for dollar. So you're gonna pay some kind of additional cost for the exchange rate and all that.
Okay.
But at least you can get some.
Okay, thank you.
And not only
And can
that,
can I add just one more thing? Sorry, and then I'll go. The short term, what a lot of people can do, and it doesn't cost much money at all, especially if you're in a major city. One thing you can do is change your savings account or your checkings account to a multi-currency account. So, because that's one thing that I have. So pounds, USD, euro, whatever. So that's one thing that can help you, that you can do right now to protect yourself if you don't have enough money for gold or silver. For those, you can switch it over. I believe it's like $5 or some $5 or $10, and you can switch your currency over to multi-currency while you're making your plans to leave. Okay. And now that's what I wanted to add as
So
well.
so
So
Hot
that way,
Sauce.
when you travel, you don't have to worry about stuff like that.
So Hot Sauce, does that mean if I go to any nation or whatever, I can store their value or currency in my account, so I can have a euro in there, I can have whatever. Is that how it works?
Well, a multi-currency account. So say, for example, like Chicago, okay, you can go to or New York, HSBC, you open a multi-currency account. So basically, if I pay you dollars, it's just stored there in whatever currency it is. So you can, in New York, take out pounds if you want, take out euros if you want, take out USD if you want, or even Chinese yuan, right? A multi-currency account just doesn't keep you pegged to the dollar. That's what people can personally do to de-dollarize their individual finances, is to have a multi-currency account. That was
So-
very useful information.
And yeah, I wanted Brother Karras input because I know he's traveled through the military.
Yeah,
If he has any
so
input
that's
there.
why I have a multi-currency account both in China and the US. And that's one way to kind of like protect myself from inflation or something like that. So that's what people can do in their hometown without even traveling while they're preparing for their plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Hot Sauce. Appreciate it. Vicky, you have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, I just wanted to get Brother Karras's input since he's traveled various countries.
Greetings, can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on one second,
I can
Sister
hear you all.
Vicky.
Can y'all hear me?
We hear you. Yeah. Can you hold 1 second?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Brother Karras.
Yeah. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. I'm getting like some feedback on that. All right. Yeah. For me personally, I will always have a little bit of cash on me, and then I'll exchange that cash in the currency that's there. I always would take cash out that I can get on out from the U.S. and then I'll go to whatever country that's there, and I'll take out cash that's there from whatever ATM. But I always try to make sure that my ATM has me and acknowledges the international travel fees, so that way you don't get hit as much. And I think that, for me, when I've banked, with military, federal credit unions, that's how they've kind of allowed that. But, in terms of other folks doing, from bigger banks and things of that nature, you're going to get hit with those currency transactions. And then on top of that, you're going to get hit with exchange fees. So just kind of understand, as you do try to move your wealth, those are one of those things that you're going to have to deal with, that what you may have in terms of $100, right? What your value is, depending on how you think you're going to have that currency, it's not going to exchange at $100. It'll probably be like, $97 was what you were only able to get. That $3 was, the fee. So, I think a lot of us have to kind of realize there's always going to be somebody nibbling with the exchanges, and that's kind of where your issues are going to lie at.
Okay. All right. Sister Vicky.
Greetings, everyone. I'm going to be very short. I just have something simple to say. I am retired. I do get a Social Security, and I don't have a lot of fiat. However, I do have some silver. How would I be able to operate with my silver when they cut off my Social Security?
Why do you expect them to cut off your Social Security?
Well, shoot, they're going to cut everything else off when the dollar drops. So I'm pretty sure they're going to cut that out too. I'm just going to be real about it.
It's probably going to be devalued and not totally cut off.
Uh-huh.
They're probably, let's say you have $1 and it'd be 50 cents or something like that. I doubt they just totally cut it off right away. Because if they did, then they're going to have to put everybody in the universal basic income right away. And I think that's going to be sort of transitory, because I would think Congress would have to be involved in that in some way.
Okay.
But as far as your silver and stuff, what were you saying about that?
How would I be able to operate with using my silver as currency? For example, let's just say that I want to contribute to what you were talking on the other show with T3ME, and you mentioned something about stock instead of like how would I be able to maneuver that? Would I be able to use my silver to get
so
some stock in what they're doing? That way out, because I want residency, but to be honest, listen, I'm retired. I do have medical issues, and they're saying that they want people that will be able to contribute. I want to go home, but at this point, I have nothing to contribute, so I don't want to be kicked out because I don't bring nothing to the continent.
Yeah, so like gold and silver is usually a store of value, right? So that's like if something major happens, you want to, you be able to cash out your silver or whatever, or precious metals. But in terms of, like right now, you can just sell it and convert it to cash. Even if they go to CBDC, I'm sure there's going to be a time where you can convert it for CBDCs. But know this, that, there's going to be a point in time where you can't do anything without approval. Right. And so like a lot of people are going to be hoarding gold, and they're going to give you a time frame to convert that gold and silver into CBDCs. Because if you don't, then, you ain't going to be able to sell it anywhere. Right. Not in the United States. So so if your question is, what can you do now with it? I mean, you can still sell your gold, you can still sell your silver, and still use cash and invest if that's what you want to do. Or if you want to buy land or something like that, you can still do that.
Yep, I thought maybe I can probably do it my silver because it has more value than the fiat. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it still has.
Yeah. Can you handle that right quick? I got to answer a call.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it still has an exchange. Your silver has a value of exchange to the dollar. So I mean, if you want to use it, you're gonna have to at some point convert that silver to the dominant currency and then use it. Right. So I mean, right now, I mean, if you want to do anything like help out in Africa, I mean, it's gonna have to be some kind of digital transaction at some point.
Gotcha. So in essence, scarred if you do, scarred if you don't.
Well, it's all about maintaining value, right? I mean, that's the whole reason you have silver, is to maintain value. So when you need it, you convert it. Just don't convert all of it. You use it as you need it.
Okay. Thank you so very much. And like you all said, I land my plane there, and I plane there, and I'm out. Thank you. Let somebody else on.
You're welcome. Brother Fast Nickel.
Shalom, everyone.
Greetings. What you got for us?
So this is a topic that I love and I've been preparing for the last 5 years. So just to bring up a couple of points. So I have a little bit of silver. I also have some junk silver. For anyone who doesn't know what junk silver is, if you go to a coin shop, anything from 1965 and older, those dimes and quarters have a little bit of silver in them. So that's called junk silver. And the reason I have some of those is because if we get to a point where you need to buy something, at least you can use those dimes, quarters, or an ounce of silver to buy something, as opposed to if you need something that's worth $100 and all you got is an ounce of gold, you don't want to give somebody a $2,000 ounce of gold for something that's $100 and they can't give you any change. So that's why it's good to have some junk silver or just some silver to do some small transactions. But also, if you got all this silver and gold, if you need to leave the country, it's hard to leave with that heavy amount of weight. So I've been telling people you need to have outside currencies. One of the things that Trump said in 2016 when he was running is how all these countries' currencies are undervalued. And the reason they do that is so when they do import-export, it's more fair or more advantageous for countries to do business with them. But we know that, for instance, Vietnam is a booming economy, but their currency is worth nothing. You got Zimbabwe. Everybody jokes about the Zimbabwe currency. $1 trillion note is, you can't even buy a loaf of bread with it. But we know that they have a ton of resources. So what's happening is all these countries are using the US dollar. But what's going to happen as the dollar now devalues and countries say we don't want it, they're going to be forced to use their currencies. So I've been telling friends and family, you need to buy some dong, you need to buy some Zimbabwe, you need to buy some of these currencies. They're worthless now, but they are going to be worth a lot of money soon. And this is part of the wealth transfer. You know, when it comes to cryptocurrency, I had like 15 different varieties of cryptos, but I pretty much have gotten rid of most of them and converted them all to XRP. Now, for those who are not familiar, XRP has been in a lawsuit for 2 years. And that's because they plan to make XRP the bridge currency that's going to allow all these digital currencies to talk amongst one another. And I always say, don't watch what they do, what they say, look at what they're doing. So for anyone who knows, Rosie Rios was the U.S. Secretary Treasurer. If you look at a $2,000 bill, her name is, her signature's at the bottom. She's one of the people behind XRP. Brad Garlinghouse, he's been in meetings with the IMF, the World Bank. That's the only crypto that they've been in talks with. So they're telling you, don't buy. Matter of fact, you can't even get it here in the U.S. You have to know how to get it to buy that crypto. But if you own it, it's going to make you millions, because that is going to be, when they get away from the dollar and go to the digital format, that is going to be, like I said, that is going to be the crypto that is going to be the bridge to all these different things when they convert to an asset-backed system. And I've done so much research on it.
So brother Fast Nickel, can you buy that in using Kraken? Because I think Kraken sells Ripple, right?
No. So the way I do it is through KuCoin. So I buy it through KuCoin, but you can, if you have the Exodus wallet allows you to take your crypto and convert it to XRP. Now, what I also have is I have a Coinbase debit card and I have an XRP debit card. So when you can't use money, or if you have all this money and you want to take it out of the dollar, I can convert it to a USDC coin, which now I can spend it like a Visa card. And what people have to understand, there's a lot of people who when the governments come out with their digital currency, don't be fooled to think that's crypto. That is not crypto. That's basically a digital form of the current system that's in place. So don't confuse what the governments are doing with cryptocurrency. It's different. And a lot of people are going to be tricked to think that it's the same, but it's not. What Brother Hot Sauce was saying about multi-currency account, I've been telling people you need to have a multi-currency account, and HSBC is the Bank of China. That's the one to use, because now you have a basket of currencies so that you're not stuck with just the dollar. So yeah,
and you can open it online. You can open it online. You don't need to go anywhere. You can do it from the comfort of your home.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
So what bank is this again? HSBC?
Yes, that's the Bank of China.
HSBC. Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
and so that's
the
a Chinese bank, right?
Correct.
No, it's a British. No. It's a British bank. Bank of China is another bank. It's a British and Singaporean combination.
Okay.
But that's the bank to use, HSBC.
Okay, cool. Good to know. All right, thanks, Fast Nickel. Hugh Apocalypse.
How you doing?
All right.
All right. So I was listening to one of your lives the other day, and then I listened to this one today, and then it's very frustrating a lot of times when you notice that, like, you know, the word says you got to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. And the thing that gets me a lot is that I notice that a lot of people, when they get the money, they tend to stop seeing things clearly. Not anybody in particular here, but like, you got brothers and sisters who's making a lot of money, but they want to stay in the slave master house. And one thing that I learned is that you can't make a name for yourself in a thief's house. So it's a bit upsetting when people have a way and they choose to not make anything work with it. And then I was reading this morning in Zechariah, second chapter, verse 7, it says, "Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon." Now, you got people who believe that America is Jerusalem and all kind of foolishness. But just considering the fact that ever since we've been here, everybody that came here by choice came for that same dream that was fed to them. Come here and have an experience of having slaves. The only reason why this place and every place that we're scattered to is not destroyed yet, because we still have attachments to it. Not all of us, but a lot of our people are still chasing that delusion. And I see a lot of brothers who are very successful outside of working. They teach in entrepreneurship, but then they want to make a name for themselves here. And they have all the means to leave. And, you know, entertainers, musicians, and all that, they're just well paid court jesters.
Yep.
We're inheriting the roles that was passed down to us from our foreparents who were in slavery. We're just entertaining the people. We're being raised to entertain the descendants. They call it friendship, but they're just studying ways to get in our head. And when their kids are around us, that's used as barriers to break down our defenses and say otherwise. And we know in scriptures it can be pretty brutal when it comes to dealing with other people's kids and stuff, but it's for a particular reason. It's because it's trying to destroy that Nephilim seed. But all in all, when you what does it say? A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So when you got a little bit of that in your system, and it spreads to the rest of us, when one person makes an excuse for something that we need to get away to free us mentally from the binds that they have on us psychologically. Like, we're stuck, like we can't live without them. People don't want to leave this place. If we don't get this westernization out of our minds, no matter where we go, it'll always find us. And I could say for myself, I'm doing my best to be more financially literate, because again, everybody that's still here that has a lot of financial freedom and they're still here, it just troubles me, because you can really be gone and be a part of that group that's making a way, but you want to stay in your master's house. So, I say I appreciate you doing your thing and giving me an opportunity to speak. And I just hope that I'm not here upsetting the order, but just giving my 2 cents.
Thanks, Hugh Apocalypse. I mean, yeah, you definitely can't build in your master's house. I agree 100 with that. Covenant Awakenings.
Hey, shalom, family. Shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom. Ministers Teyu and Yakoba, these times, these conversations are so pertinent right now in our community. And let me just tell you just a couple of things that I've been doing. I'm working with Quest to Unite Africa.com. All right. Well, that's our website, but it's Quest, the number 2, Unite Africa, and that's with the K. That's Africa spelled with a K. And so we've been doing just having a series of just building and collaboration. And look, we've been getting to understand the needs of what's going on in the continent, because here's the thing: we believe that when you are donating, right, those donations are the investments, are the seeds that's being planted for getting us up on out of here and not having to be under what is getting ready to take place with this monetary system. Because we all see how this monetary system is being devalued. We all see how different countries are dealing with the monetary system. Some are getting out of it sooner, some are getting out of it later. But we are now looking to establish things within ourselves, and really the output has been tremendous. For those that wanted to get on the live, or excuse me, the Zoom call today, we have something scheduled for next week, next Sunday. That's going to be 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that allows for the folks on the continent to be able to jump on in and then be able to answer a lot of the questions that our people have. And a lot of the questions that we had, they were given great information. How do we hedge our dollar? Well, that was provided for. How do we make sure that we can get to point A to point B? Those answers were provided for. What can we do while we're here? That was also provided for, because at the end of the day, we want to bring infrastructure to the continent and bring those materials that we have that's just going to be sitting here. Because if you didn't understand, when that dollar starts to collapse and people aren't able to get the value that they once had out of their equipment, right? That depreciation, they're just going to write it off. It's going to be too much maintenance fees, and things of that nature to hold on to different things. People are going to be going into bankruptcy. They're going to be liquidating as much as they can. And this is where we have it. And I'm telling you, with the response, we had over 130 people that invites were sent to, and we've had almost 95 people that came in. Some, it is what it is. That folks, they have different scheduling conflicts and things of that nature, which is, that's part of life. But when I tell you that we had almost 100 participants, that just shows you the move of the Most High is being made, and it's being made amongst His people. So we're here because guess what? Folks are building there in Tanzania, and we're filling those gaps. And it's awesome to see what it is that we're able to do. Don't think that your dollar's in vain, right? But think about it as, where are you going to give to? Are you trying to store up the riches for Babylon? Well, you see, Babylon is going to fall. And we have a mentality of, well, we or us, I. Look, we are building. We are building, and we need your help to continue building those efforts. Now, I definitely appreciate the information Hot Sauce and Fast Nickel brought on up there, because that is something that we are looking to do, because, look, we want to be able to provide that information of these multi-currency accounts, right? Of being able to get, well, here's crypto type things. We need this. This is something that we need. I know that you have that on your form at tailministries.com. Appreciate that, Brother Yakoba. But as we build and we try to make sure that we're getting on to the continent, right? This is where we're beginning to at least get this baseline knowledge on down. So that's all I gotta say.
And can I say something really quickly about the bank? I mentioned HSBC because that's what I use, but any international bank at any big city in America, right? It doesn't have to be like Citibank also has it, right? Just any international bank you can do it at.
Oh, okay. Any international bank?
Yes, like Standard Charter, Citibank, anywhere where they have other banking branches around the world, you can do it. It doesn't have to be HSBC.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thanks.
Also, could I just add also that you can also use trading accounts like E-Trade, TD Ameritrade if you have them, or any account that allows you to trade currency, because a lot of people trade currency.
Yep.
It's your turn now anyway, Brother Key, so go ahead, continue.
Oh, okay, all right. I just wanted to throw that in there because thank you, Hot Sauce, for providing that information, because that's very important. But yeah, so if you want to trade into another currency, or you think you may want to, people, now is the time to go ahead and set up those accounts. Even if you don't have the funds to do it now, set up the accounts so that when you are ready, you'll have that option. because you can trade into any currency, the rupee, any currency through like I said, TD Ameritrade. Brother Households mentioned HSBC, and you can start these accounts online. So you don't have to go into a physical branch, because I know some of you are probably in like rural communities. That's not really an option if you live in that type of community, if you don't want to travel 300 miles or whatever to go to like a larger bank. So just know that is an option. I would highly recommend that you all start to at least think about that now, start to prepare for that now. By the way, so Minister Yacoba, I don't finish it, but I watched a lot of the show you did about investments. That was great. I'm glad you did that. That was a beautiful thing, brother. So thank you for doing that. And I think that as a people, what we need to start doing also is start thinking about what you're going to do when you get over in the land. Sort of get in where you fit in, really. Not just that, but I think also people have to start maybe learning new skills, because when you go there, just remember you are going there as an immigrant, and a lot of these countries are already struggling in their own ways. So they don't want someone, and just to be frank about it, many of them don't want someone who will go there to get a job. They want someone who can go there to create a job. So just keep that in mind. That should be a mindset. Now, let me say this also. I know that people are in different situations, and I get that. So even if you don't have a lot of money, don't let that discourage you. You can still be a job creator, because, again, remember, their situation is a little bit different, or quite different in some areas, because I've been looking at a lot of different areas, a lot of different options. So you can go there with like certain skill sets and bring value, although you may not be a rich person. So I mentioned that because, and again, I'm glad you all are doing this, Brother Karras, with what you're doing with the nonprofit. I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think that's part of like the back end of how business works. Like the infrastructure, the logistics of how business works. Because when a lot of people go over to the land, you can start a business by having a small shop, like a dollar store type place, but when you're forming any kind of business, you always have to ask the question, okay, how? Like how exactly do you make this happen? I mentioned that because what many of us will have to start doing as well is considering the source. It's called sourcing. When you source where you buy stuff, it's like the wholesale aspect of it. And almost everything you use, you go into any Walmart, any Target, almost everything is made in China. I mentioned that because Minister Yacoba has already covered a lot of what's happening with China and such. But almost everything you buy in places like America is already made in China. But what these businesses are doing is they go to China, and it's called a white label, basically. So basically, they go and they buy these things, like pretty much everything, and then they get their logos or their labels placed onto these things, even electronics, and it's super cheap. So I mentioned that because China is one of those countries which they're very efficient in how they do it, but they have these huge, it's almost like a mall. They have a few of them. It's almost like a wholesale mall. And they have a place like that in Atlanta, but China does it on like a way bigger level. But anyways, they have like wholesale malls where they don't do it like they do it in a lot of American like wholesalers, like distributors, where you have to have a big business and they basically scrutinize you. China doesn't care. They'll sell to anybody as long as you can buy it. Sometimes they have minimum order requirements, but I mentioned that because you can go to these, and a lot of these things are online, and they have shoppers who can find stuff for you, but you can source materials at these wholesale, I call them malls, and you can get what you need for your business, for your store. You can literally get anything. You can get everything from like solar panels to like windmills, wind turbines. You can get all kinds of everything. Anything that they make in China, you can get from these malls. So as you all are thinking about what can you do, when you go to the land or in preparation for going into the land, just know that those types of things exist. And this is the very thing that every other nation does. Like every business you see when they come into like our businesses, this is what they're doing. A lot of them are getting the nails and the hair from these types of places. So you can do the same thing, but knowledge is power. Once you know it exists, and once you have the information, so you can actually start to use those resources, then you can build yourself. I just wanted to put that out there in support of everything that you discuss. Not just today, but on your investment show as well. So just know, Israel, that we need to start thinking about that type of thing.
All right, thanks, brother. Keep William.
Shalom, family. Can y'all hear me?
Yep, sound good.
Thank you. I got a dream that I want to share with the family.
Go for it.
All right. The Most High gave me this dream before he awakened me. It was about 10 years ago. I was walking through. The dream started out. I was walking through a car, but it fixed cars. I had my car in the shop. Me and the man that owned the shop was talking, and as we was walking to the back of the shop at the door. We walked out to the lot where my car was. I noticed like a storm was coming up. It was getting kind of like, when the rain first come up. So me and my wife both been meeting, me and my nephew and his wife for lunch. We was going to this little cafe thing across the street from it. It was an outside restaurant. So as I was walking out to meet them, a bolt of lightning hit like on a pole and shot out down the electric lines. And so we ran over to where my nephew was. By that time, I looked up in the sky and I seen this angel. He was at there and he started blowing a trumpet. As he blowed the trumpet, it seemed like a big old, like a tidal wave came over the restaurant. But I came to realize it wasn't a tidal wave. It was a tidal wave of angels came over the restaurant. As they came over the restaurant, they were shooting down, picking up people. I thought they was putting them in chairs, but I came to realize as I looked at them, they were putting their wings around them and taking off with them. And I said, by that time I said, when is y'all gonna get me? So when I said that, one on grabbed me and we shot out like a rocket. And we ended up in a place where it was like a land that I'd never seen before. It was beautiful. People was everywhere. They were sitting down, people in that land. And that's when I woke up.
So a second Exodus dream sound like, huh?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Brother William. Sister Betty.
Shalom, family. How's everybody doing today?
Hey, Sister
yes,
Betty, how you
and
doing?
Minister Jacoba, and I'm good today. How are you?
I'm blessed.
All right, family. This is what I want to share with you, Minister Jacoba, and the panel, and everybody, Terrace. My son flight leaves 4:00 tomorrow, and I was gonna ask. He said that he was gonna video when he land in Dar es Salaam. He was gonna do, videos about his meetings with the lawyer and where he's staying at in Dar. And I was wondering, Minister Kobe, would you want for me to email those videos to you, or Arthur could send it to you, of his or would you want one video of his trip? Because he's gonna be down there 2 weeks.
Well, does he have a YouTube channel? Because he can upload it there and we can share it.
No, he don't have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
I was just thinking maybe I don't know.
Okay, because what I can do, I can share it on Tail Ministries website.
Okay. I was just wondering because Arthur is actually going down. Paris, when you email me, I'll give you more details of what he's doing. He's actually going down to meet with an attorney to find out about the residency. Does he have to start? He starts the business. He's going down with all the business proposals to work on residencies, to open up the accounts, and to meet with T3. Tim is going to meet with him And the reason why I'm sharing it is because I know so many of us are nervous, not really afraid, because we Judah, we don't get afraid. We're a little nervous because what's making us nervous is leaving the land of our oppressors. We ain't never, ever, ever gonna be free. We've never been free. 1865 ain't free nobody. They just keep evolving. Slavery, mental slavery, they keep changing. They're chameleons. They change. They make the laws and break the laws and reinvent the laws. And it is all to keep Judah down. It's never going to change. And if you say you trust and you believe and you got the faith of a mustard seed, I don't understand why you're finding it so difficult to step outside of this wicked system that you're in. You sitting there thinking in your mind, fooled by the enemy, the liar, the father of lies. These people are living the life and following the rules of their father. Don't you understand? These fallen people are their father. Little angels. They call their kids, oh, come here, you little angel. That's because they know who their fallen daddy is, a little fallen angel. You are still following and believing what your oppressors gave you. They gave you a white Messiah, which is an idol. That Jesus, that Christ, that is an idol. That our forefathers was forced to follow and worship an idol. If you're not worshiping Yahuwah, you worshiping an idol. You don't know it because you are still in the land of your oppressors. You're still delusional. Your ears don't work, and the scales are still on your eyes. But you want to beat down the very people, the disciples who we are. You beating us down because we're constantly trying to unplug your ears, take the scales off your eyes, but you're going to go ahead and hang us and take Barabbas. It makes no sense. If you really study the word and you understand it, you will see what we're doing. We're only laying the foundation. And family, do not fret. Do not fret. Pray, fast, meditate. Because what is going on, it has to happen. It has to happen. So don't fret, family. My son is going down alone, but he's not really alone because he has the Most High. He has the Most High with him, with nothing but the Most High. He's going down there on faith and prayer. Faith and prayer. I'm sending my son who just turned 33 Wednesday. I'm sending him because I have that much faith that Yahuwah is going to cover my son because he's the one that's sending him forth, not me. I have no power. The Most High is sending Arthur forth, and Arthur is going to come back with information that's going to help everybody on this panel who wants to tap in. He's going to come back with information that's going to help us, and we need it. We have to have it because we are in a sinking ship called the Titanic. The
So let
elite
me
got
ask
the
you a
boat.
question, Sister Betty. Someone said the beast system is all over the world, including Africa.
Oh,
What would
my
you say to
Lord,
that?
my Lord, delusional, whoever said it. Because listen, we know the beast system all over the world. Please go away with that. Go away. Who's saying that the beast system is not all over the world? Of course it is. But I'd rather look at the beast system looking at myself than looking at the beast system who's whipping me on my back constantly with it still. You never gonna have no peace here. You don't even own, I don't own my house. I paid for it, but I don't own it. You are really in the beast system here, and you're delusional thinking that the beast system is going to be in the continent like that. And it is not. It is there, but it's not like here.
Exactly.
Whoever said that, let them stay here and battle the beast system here. It's a choice. The Most High give you choice. It's consequences behind your choices, but thanks to him, he give you a choice.
So with questions like that, answer it for yourself. Do you want to live here in this beast system the way it is now in your 15-minute city where you can't go visit your grandmother, your daughter, your uncle, where they're going to be monitoring what you eat, what you buy, eat you some bugs, eat you some photocopied meat with some seed that Bill Gates done put the virus or whatever he done put in them seeds to grow for you to eat. Go let the homosexuals grow them some babies. So we stay here.
Well said, Sister Betty.
Grow you some children. Whatever you want to do, just do it. Don't come with that type of energy, that low frequency energy at that best. Don't come over here with that. Like I said, if you love Babylon, those are the questions and those are the things that you're going to say because you love it. You love it so much, just stay here and be in it.
All right. Thank you, Sister Betty.
Fine. Minister Jacoby. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it, Sister Betty. Dee Dee. You have to unmute yourself, Dee Dee. Dee Dee going once. Dee Dee going twice. All right. So, question to the panel. Anybody can answer. So, Ken Hunter says this may or may not be a good move for all those involved, but I emphasize this is not the second Exodus. I'm like, whoever said it was the second Exodus? Anybody want to comment on that?
Yeah, I would like to if I could. First I want to say, I know we have faith and I know there's no fear, right? But there's a little bit of uncomfortable and unease, right? Especially for Americans who never really left America, right? I think like 10% of us have passports. So it's reasonable. It's reasonable, right? And so to the first comment about the beast system is everywhere. Yes, you are correct. It's everywhere. But the strategy is to go to the places where you can mitigate that, where you have a fighting chance. And by going to the continent, going to Africa, right, we can limit our exposure to the beast system, and hopefully our children or our children's children don't even have to live through a beast system, right? Because this is just bigger than us, right? This is positioning like you started off the panel. You said leaving a heritage for your children's children. This is about positioning our children's children in a better position than what we grew up in, what we had to live through, what we're continually going through. Second part, no one's saying this is the second Exodus, but at the same time, the Bible does, or the scriptures does says, come out of her. And now this is the time, right? Also in the Bible, it talks about everyone is going to leave her and go back to their home countries. We're not the only group of people having this. Asians are having this conversation about going back to whatever Asian country they're coming from. Europeans are having the same conversation about where to go and going to Europe. The wealthy elite of America have already went to New Zealand to get passports, have left to get passports in Singapore. We're late to the party. All other groups of people have already talked about this. I believe we're in a part of the Bible where it says everybody goes back to the country they come from. I think that's where we're at now. Asians are having the same conversations. Trust me. Can we get to China? Can we get to Vietnam? Wherever they came from. So this is not the second Exodus, but this is about being smart, building for the people who can't come, right? We're building for the people who can't come now, but will come later. And that's my answer.
Well said, Hot Sauce. Anybody else wanted to comment on that?
Well, I have a few things to say about that. So, people, I've heard, well, a lot of people have said this to me personally. I guess that's their like rejoinder or like their cop out, basically, to just let it be. Well, the beast system is everywhere. I've heard that. People have told that to me personally. Some of my beautiful loved ones have said that to me. Let me respond to that. This beast that we're talking about, of course, this beast is all over the world. Scripture said it. This beast is basically controlling the world. However, this beast, this chimera beast thing, has a lot of tentacles. Some of its tentacles are around the necks of people more directly because you're closer to it. Those tentacles cannot reach everywhere, every crack and crevice of the world, and it does not. Even right now, it doesn't like completely reach everywhere. And this beast system is busy right now. It will become increasingly busy with wrapping its tentacles around your neck if you decide to stay close to it. So part of what we are doing is getting away from it. Just like Minister Yacoba said, I think there's a lot of wisdom in what he said. Some of those underdeveloped parts of Africa, they're under the radar. Like they're not even really being considered by the beast system. The beast system think that they're nothing, nobody, so they're not even paying attention to them. The beast will be focused on other things and other people that are closer to it. Those larger cities, those closer entities, those closer countries, and so that's what the beast will be focused on. So that's a sorry excuse to just let it be. Yeah, okay. So I see on the screen that its tentacles are technology. That's partially true, but guess what? There are other options for technology. So so of course technology can go quite far in terms of tracking and stuff like that. But a lot of these places in Africa don't have technology. They don't have a lot of technology. So that's one of the worst excuses I think people can make. It doesn't really survive scrutiny when people say stuff like that. When you have someone who's informed about just a few things, they can poke a lot of holes in that argument when they say that. And someone mentioned that it's not the second Exodus. Nobody said it was, bro. Nobody said it was the second Exodus. Nobody said that. Listen, our scripture told us, and if you believe the scripture, then you should believe this. He said that when after the second Exodus occurs, you'll forget all about the first Exodus. You won't even talk about it anymore. That's what our scripture tells us. So when the second Exodus happens, you'll know. You won't have to question, say, what do you think? You think this is the second Exodus? You won't even have to ask that question. It'll be very obvious. It is the second Exodus. Nobody will question it. Okay. So a lot of times when people, make those types of comments, it's just like getting into the weeds. It's just like foolishness, to be honest with you. And maybe it's just a matter of maybe they haven't studied certain scriptures within context. So
they obviously haven't studied, right?
Right. So you'll know when it's the second Exodus. Stop the nonsense. Listen, guys, these brothers and these sisters are trying to make moves. They're preparing a way. This is the flee portion. This is the portion where, just like I forget who it was, but they mentioned how the scripture in the prophecy tells us that every nation will go back to their home, like city or their hometown. They will go back to their place. They'll go back to their people. That's what this is. You know what? Some of us are going to be going there and doing things and building things. And lucky you, because you will have at least someone who is of the faith, who gets it, who understands it, who will probably be sympathetic toward you when you need a place, even if you don't have much. Some of us, I'm sure, will be sympathetic towards you, because when we are already there, we've already built what we are building, and then you have a situation, you'd be like, I want to come, I want to join you guys, but I can't. Some of us are kind-hearted enough to help you come, so you're welcome, because some people are going and making a place for you. So for all the naysayers, and listen, this sometimes you just have to go back to like what our parents taught us, and we're Hebrews, so many of us had similar upbringings where our parents told us, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Okay. Another thing my dad used to say, which is like a blue collar, kind of harsh for some people, but I like it. I don't repeat it too much because people are kind of soft, super soft, and they get in their feelings. But my dad used to say, which there's a lot of wisdom in that. It was harsh, but it makes sense, and I like it. He used to say, people don't know how stupid you are until you open your mouth. So if you don't know what you're talking about, shut up. Because if you open your mouth too much, you'll show people how stupid you are. So learn, get it, study, and then you should open your mouth and say things. So sometimes it's best to just be quiet. So for those who are trying to knock what these beautiful Hebrews are trying to do for Yah's people, they are having adult conversations at an adult table, trying to make things happen. If you disagree with them, if you don't like it, if you think that is foolishness, keep your mouth shut. Keep it to yourself. You don't have to vocalize that. You can keep that to yourself. And if you don't want to sit at this table, Go sit at the kids' table. You can sit at the kids' table. There's a high chair for you. If you want to throw food, you can dump your macaroni and cheese in your head. You can like smudge your face with the mashed potatoes. But this is the adult table. So you know what? If you don't want to be part of it, if you don't want to be part of the conversation, go to the kids' table. As it pertains to this issue, maybe you can come back to another adults' table when people are not talking about this type of thing. But don't interfere, y'all. Just and keep your negative comments to yourself because it's not helpful.
See, Brother Key, that's what I say. I say, look, you got free will. You don't have to do anything we tell you to do. If you don't like what we do, sit your butt down and just relax while we build the wall.
Right.
Period.
And people talk all the could be because you post the comments and you highlight the comments and people say this, they say all kinds of negative stuff. They're speaking against what you're trying to do. Why would you speak against it? You're not sinning. You're not hurting anybody. You're not saying, hey, you better do this. You're just, doing what the Most High has led you to do, and you're trying to pave a way. You're trying to provide solutions, provide answers to people. Why are people talking smack about it?
Because they
Shut
love
your mouth,
Babylon.
sit
But
down.
let me
Ain't about
move on.
Babylon.
Let me move on to DD, Brother Key, but well said. DD.
Hi, I couldn't figure out how to do the mic again. I want to thank y'all for having this discussion. I was on the call this morning and I had made this suggestion about the foreign currencies, and because most of these currencies they're already asset backed, they already go back or whatever the countries have in ground and underground. So I was trying to see if about us investing with our monies, because soon this dollar is going to be dead. It's going to be worthless paper in our pockets. So I was trying to find a way, because that's what the Lord been showing me. And I thank Fast Nickel and the other gentleman, because I've been investing in the dong and all that, and because we don't know when this thing is going to end, and we got to prepare. We got to look at all aspects of what's going on. The other day, the African president said to get out of the dollar, and he said soon get out of the dollar. So we have to find ways to hedge our monies, because if we keep holding it, it's not going to be worth anything. And I was looking at some of the bills, like Venezuela, Bolivar, the dong, the BRICS is Brazil, India, China, South Africa, and that's the South African rand. And I was thinking maybe we could, individually invest in some of those, because we know that that's going to be the up and coming thing that they're trying to do. And right now they are still currencies. There's Tanzania's got the shilling. It's 2,338 shillings to $1 right now. And just like that couple earlier said that eventually it's going to change. So that's what I'm thinking about. And then with Brother Fast Nickel, he was talking about the XRP, also XLM. They have been talking about that too. So, but all the banks and stuff, I know Wells Fargo, TD Bank, First Citizen, Bank of America, PNC, they all have the foreign currency sections, and you can order this physical currency, not just on paper, not just in a like digital. I actually have physical ownership of my currencies that I've have. And I suggest that, maybe even eBay, there's reputable dealers on eBay that sells these currencies. I don't know if y'all want to do that or not, but I've had pretty decent luck with some of the dealers on eBay. Zimbabwe was the currency that they were going to use. So it's a lot of it's a lot of stuff that we can do to try to be prepared. So when we go in the country, we won't be penniless. We won't be broke. We'll have something in our hands and say, this is what I have, and I can run with that. And so I just want to thank y'all for what y'all doing. And it's a confirmation, because I've been thinking about it and thinking about it. I was like, Lord, this would be, but I didn't know how to, let y'all know. But I thank God for that, for y'all. And I just want everyone to be blessed and, think. We have to think. We can't just walk around with our eyes in the sand, buried in the sand, thinking that, oh, this country is going to help us. These people are going to be there for it. No, we got to think too. And we got to think and thank the Most High for giving us this wisdom to do things. And y'all have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Dee Dee.
Hey,
So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Brother Kobe, I just wanted to add something. Sister Dee Dee had some amazing ideas and discussions in the Quest to Africa collaboration Zoom that we had this morning. And let me tell you, family, it was, to my surprise, it was amazing. And I know that Sister Dee Dee can attest to that herself with the amount of people that were there that's ready to just collaborate and be collaborative. So, this is the whole thing. We're a family. We're all a family, and everybody's listening to each other. All the brothers and sisters are listening to each other. Because why? Because we know what's happening. Nobody's just sitting here saying, well, you want to know what? I'll sit in the back and I'll just. No, people are trying to get involved. I don't have much, but what can I do? How can I help you? How can I help build this website? How can I help go about asking folks for different things? This is what we have. Folks wanting to write grants. Folks wanting to just, how can we get a school on up there? How can we do things with education for the region, which will then become the continent? So this is it's awesome, because this is the amount of wealth that we have as a people. This is knowledge wealth. This is information wealth. And we always think, well, wealth has to be the equivalent of what's in your bank account. That's the system of Babylon. Wealth actually starts with what's in your mind that the Most High has given you in terms of that knowledge. That's where it starts. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
I'd like to add a few.
Go ahead.
Based on certain comments that have been made, it just further proves that there's a great deal of Stockholm syndrome affecting a lot of our people. They're afraid to fight. If you think about South Africa, you have Caucasians that are in a place that they definitely are not originated from, and they lay claim to that land as if it's theirs, and they will fight for it, for their descendants to have a place. And it's kind of like owning a duplex. Someone broke into your house and told you this mine's, and you ain't gonna do nothing about it, to the point that they got the law involved where they can basically have that work in their defense. And me being from the West Coast, it's very diverse over here, but I see how no matter how they emulate us, they always practice group economics with their people. They have established a community. They got themselves into law to where they can make moves for their people. That's why you see the whole Stop Asian Hate thing blowing up. It does not matter if they grow up in the projects with you, because they still know who their people are. And they know that when they send their people here, they're sending that money back home as leverage to prepare to come back home. So the problem with us over here is we're too comfortable with the trinkets that we were given. And we tasted a little bit of that wine in that cup, and we just got a little drunk off it, or maybe just us who stopped drinking. We decided we want to go to rehab to rehabilitate. We want to leave, but some of us is still telling us the drink is too good to walk away from, and some people have to be left.
Yeah, if I could add something also,
All
just
right,
really quickly.
let me respond right quick, and then I'll let you add. So, my question to you all is, what are you going to do with those dollars, right? Because some of y'all got a lot of dollars, but probably in the next few months or a year, probably not more than a year, is going to be worthless or close to worthless. So, what are you going to do with it? You're going to let it just become toilet paper, right? You're going to let all that just sit there, or are you going to use it for the kingdom now? See, you can use that money to help build the kingdom. You can work on that wall like Nehemiah and them, instead of those who keep trying to tell Nehemiah, come down off that wall. See, some of y'all keep trying to tell us to come down off the wall, and we're like, no, we cannot. We got to build, right? Because the kingdom is here. Y'all don't get it. See, some of y'all not part of the plan. Why? Because you are Babylonian minded. You want Babylon to exist forever. You like the fact that the whore rides the beast, and that the whore controls all these nations, and the whore delivers all of these merchandise to you from all of the kingdoms she done oppressed and stepped on. Her judgment is here, and you're about to lose it all. Your 401k gonna disappear. Your IRA is gonna disappear. And I know y'all think I'm extreme. You think what I am saying is never gonna happen. But the Bible says your wealth is going to be cankerous. Your wealth is going to turn into trash. And some of y'all are relying on the old system and thinking the old ways are the way to do things. And there's a new way here now. There's a new system. There is the Babylonian system that is being destroyed, and a 10-nation confederate system being built. And guess what? In the days of those 10 shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom that shall never end. So God's kingdom is being built as well. What are you going to do? All right, back to you.
Okay, I'll answer that first, and I have two answers for that. Number one, obviously, for those who can afford to go, should go, and those who cannot afford to go, or have reasons why they can't go immediately. Just like we said, like multi-currency account. If you can't do that, I would probably buy British pounds. British pounds are not globally traded, but they're worth more than USD. There's a website to talk about the top 10 strongest currencies outside of the dollar. Any of those would be good, but I would personally go with the pound. And but I want to say this because I think we're looking at it in a very negative light. This is in the 400 recent years of being a Hebrew, there has never been a better time to be Hebrew right now. We have an opportunity to go to a place where we can get food that's not going to cause us chronic diseases. We have opportunities to build family businesses that our oppressors are not going to take from us, right? Because don't you notice all of the black businesses are now majority 90% are in the hands of the Gentiles, right? This is a wonderful time to sing and praise to the Most High, because this is a time where we can be in a land where we can self-govern, be in a land where we can get rid of chronic diseases, be in a land where we don't have to worry about, people taking from us, right? And we need to start looking at it that way. All of the wonderful and amazing opportunities there's ahead of us, and all of the strife and wickedness and things that are behind us, right? We got to get our mind right first and foremost. And that's all I wanted to add. Right now, I'm excited. I am super excited for what's to come. Right, but I've been living abroad for a while, but right now I am super excited what's to come and what we can do in the land where we can be free to do what we can do, and not anyone try to take it away from us. So for me, this is a huge blessing. I'll pass the mic. I'm excited.
Thank you, Hassan. So I'm gonna tell y'all what I've been doing, and like I say, this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing, okay? And I'm not saying whatever I'm doing is gonna work, and but I know what's coming, right? I know what the scriptures teach. So basically, what I've been doing, I've invested in crypto. I've invested in ETFs for the Chinese yuan, right? So, electronic. What's that? ETFs. What does that stand for again? Electronic transfer fund, something like that. Whatever. So I have some Chinese ETFs. I have some gold ETFs. And I also invested in some of the technology stocks because I know they're going to a climate type of environment, where basically, you're going to have these climate control type companies, right? They're going to make a lot of money. That doesn't mean it's going to be successful. These companies may not survive. They may not be here. Crypto may disappear and something else replace it. Yeah, thank you. Electronic transfer fund. Yeah, I think that's it. And so understand that you have to come up with what the Most High tells you. Oh, yes. Yeah, I have some gold and silver ETFs. You have to do what the Most High tell you, because I also have some silver coins. But you can't really carry silver coins with you everywhere you go, right? That's the problem with that. And also the thing you can do is invest in what we're trying to do with the Dry Bones Project and what Brother Karras and them are doing over at Quest to Unite Africa, because now you're putting it towards the kingdom. You see, you're putting your money towards the kingdom and helping build the kingdom. And so then it won't just disappear and your money becomes worthless. See, there's a high chance that your money is going to become worthless. Now, I know some of y'all think I'm putting fear in you. All I'm saying is read the signs. I read the signs. And so far, I have a pretty darn good track record, I say myself, right? And so I'm not telling you to do anything. You do what the Most High has led you to do. And guess what? Yeah, that's it. Exchange traded funds. Thank you, Joshua. Exchange traded funds. That's it. Exchange traded funds. And so I'm not telling you to do anything. As I said, this is not financial advice, but you have to be able to read the signs. You have to make moves. See, some of y'all think there's nothing required of you. See, this is the problem. You don't think there's anything required of you. And I gave y'all the example of Katrina. And a lot of y'all would have been stuck in that water in Katrina because I'm waiting on the Lord to save me. He's going to protect my home while your home is blown over and you had a chance to escape because you saw the storm coming. You didn't make no preparations. You didn't leave and you had the money and the ability to leave. You didn't invest in, some place where you could relocate. You know what I'm saying? It just don't make sense, right? Some of y'all think y'all know what the scriptures teach and you don't. And some of you all think there's nothing required of you. See, this is the problem, right? And some of you all think that all things are going to remain the same. It is over. Don't you know? Don't you see it? The Gentiles see it. The Gentiles know the dollar's over. The Gentiles know that America's status is falling. The Gentiles are moving out. They're going different places, and some of them are going to Africa. The Gentiles know this. They're doing stuff, but you're not. Does it make any sense? You're supposed to be the chosen ones. You're supposed to be the children of the Most High. You're supposed to be able to see what's coming. You're supposed to be warning everybody else and not them warning you. But some of y'all like, ain't nothing gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen to me. Right? And we've been trying to help y'all. We've been trying to warn y'all. We've been trying to set things up on the continent, but y'all be like, Jacoba, you making people scared. This is not the second Exodus. Nobody ever said it was the second Exodus. See, your eschatology is wrong because you don't listen. So I'm gonna get final comments from everybody, and I'm gonna start with you, Fast Nickel. You there, Fast Nickel? All right, we're going to do final comments, and we're going to start with Sister Dee.
All right, all praises to the Most High, y'all. Thank you, Lord. I just want to just give the Father praise for just entrusting this stuff to us. And like you said, the world is spiraling out of control, and we can't spiral with them. We have to stand and make a stand. And when you were talking earlier about the children of Israel, they grabbed their goods and they took what they could. They borrowed. They borrowed everything and they grabbed their goods and took it with them. And so this is what we're doing. We're grabbing our goods. We're grabbing what we have, what we can. And because like they said, the China is going to be the yuan is going to be the world's reserve currency. So that's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start investing in some yuan so that when I get over in the land, like you said, we'll not be penniless. We will have something in our hands, and we will say, Lord, this is what we have for you, and this is for your kingdom. And I just thank God for y'all, all of y'all, because I've been in my mind like this for a long time. And I talk to people and they look at me like I'm just crazy. Tell people at work. Now I got a few, I see the all the monies and stuff. And she was talking about the what is it? The I can't even think right now because I'm nervous. With the Instagram and the face, all this stuff is ending. And she said, I've been finding out a lot of stuff. And you were right. I'm like, I'm not as crazy as y'all thought I was, So some of them are coming around, but, we got to be there for them to help guide them. And we all going to make it in. We just have to just start praising y'all for what he's getting ready to do. He is great and mighty, and he's delivering us. And we are his people. We are the sheep of his pasture. And we're going to make it. And I thank God. So we don't walk in fear, people. We don't walk in fear. We walk in him and what his statutes. And just thank God. I thank Yahuwah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sister Didi. Sister Betty, final comment?
All praise to the Most High Yahuwah. And again, I'm thankful for the panel. I'm thankful for everybody that is on the panel. What I do want to share is that any building that is going on, me and my family, as for me and my house, we are 100% in. We all in. I mean, we jump ship. We're all in. Whatever building going on, laying down a foundation, digging wells, building schools, whatever it is that you guys on this panel need help from, Sister Betty, my email is in the chat. I am all in. I'm here for my people because I our people are just, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We need prayer, and only thing that can heal us and help us is Yahuwah, because he know what condition that we're in, and he's the one that sent us in this condition for our breaking the commandments and disobeying him. Now we waking up, we're falling back in line, we're calling back on his name, we're turning away from our wickedness and our evil ways, we're repenting, we're asking him to accept us back in. We want our inheritance back. We want it back, and we're gonna take it back any kind of way necessary. We want our inheritance back. We turn back to Yahuwah and praise and worship him and him only.
Amen.
So with that said, family, we have to just not be afraid. Be a little nervous, but don't be afraid. He is our covering. We ain't talking about this no second Exodus. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to get back into that because these are closing comments. But we have already started. No matter what nobody says, there's no way to turn us back. You cannot turn us back. You can shut the channels down. You can do whatever you want to do. We will not turn back. We done been to the streets, picketing and riding and doing everything that a human being could do to be seen, to be recognized, to stop hurting me, stop killing me. Like Jacoba like to say, stop hitting me in the back of the head and say it wasn't none of you. I know who hit me in the head. Come on, y'all know. Oh, Anyway, may the Most High bless us on this panel. And listen, like I said, Sister Betty is all in. All you gotta do is hit me up. I'm here. I'm here. Thank you. Love y'all.
Thank you. Love you too, Sister Betty. And in answer to someone about what to do with 401ks and stuff, like I said, it's not financial advice. You can go ahead and convert that into IRAs if you're worried about, that type of thing, and have your IRA denominated in gold. They have some of those if you want to do that. That might be a little better for you. But personally, I think for me, at least, it's all about trying to get out of this system, out of the American system, right? This wicked Babylonian system. Brother Keith, final comment.
Thank you, brother. Sister Betty, thank you for your kind words. That's the love of the Messiah right there. That's what it's all about. For the people watching, I just want to say to you all, this is it. This is what it's about. This is, kingdom building. People talk about the kingdom. This is, the building of the kingdom is very practical. It's not, super fancy pants stuff, like super spiritual, like, someone is going to snap their fingers 3 times and then boom, there's a kingdom. This is it, y'all. People have to do practical things. Someone has to put stuff together. Someone has to be planning. Someone has to be building. This is it. This is what it looks like. We have to put a kingdom in place so when our wonderful king, the King of Kings, when our Messiah returns, he'll have something to return to. Okay, so this is what it's all about. So now this isn't for everybody. Some people are messy. Some people don't know how to get along. You talk about craps in the bucket mentality. Some people, now, sometimes when you don't know better, you don't do better. But sometimes when you do know better, you will do better. Some people grow and some people learn. Some people evolve. And that's cool. And we have to have grace for people and allow them to do that. But some people won't. They won't evolve. They won't grow. They have a closed mind, closed spirit, and it's just like they know it all, and their opinion is king, and their opinion is their God. So for those, you can pray for them. I personally don't have a lot of patience for that kind of foolishness, because it's one thing to not know and to not have knowledge of certain things, or to not be on a certain level in terms of your growth. We all have to grow, right? We all should be growing until we leave this world. So some people may not be there, and that's cool. And there's grace for people who are not there yet. But there's one thing to not know and to not understand, and there's another thing to be messy. Some people are messy, and some people are so messy. And I've used the analogy before because I like it. The baby with the dirty diaper just running around playing and just like having a good time, stinking up the whole house. Some people are so smelly with their personality and their confrontation and their negativity. They stink up everything for everybody. I mentioned that because some people, at some point, people have to know when it's time to just let it go. Let it go. Let some people go and just ignore some people and send them back to the kids' table. Send them somewhere to go get that diaper changed, because they're just going to keep smelling it up. So, guys, this is the kingdom. We are building. This is the beginning stages. This is how we give our Messiah something to return to. And when he gathers us during the second Exodus, there has to be something for him to gather everybody to. People have to live, people have to eat, all that stuff. So some of these same people, you may not see them, you may not be able to talk to them or, be friendly with them. But some of these same people who are watching right now, some of these same people who are on the panel are going to be the people who are going to be back in the land that you will one day break bread with. So I would admonish you all to stay connected. Stay connected, because this is your Hebrew family. This is your spiritual family, if you will. And other Hebrews too, of course, who are like-minded, who are like-spirited, if you will. That's not really a phrase or a word, but I like it. So like-minded, like-spirited, and want to serve the Most High Yah. Stay connected, because things will evolve, things will happen. Minister Jacoby has talked about it ad nauseum. He's talked about it so much. I hope people appreciate it and respect it. He's talked about it so much. But when things get really bad, you're not going to have a lot of time. Now is the time to plan. When things get bad, some things are not going to be available. Some information won't be available. So stay connected, pay attention, take action. Ignore those who want to be negative and naysayers, and just, if they don't want to do it, fine. They can go sit and glow in the dark by themselves if they want to. that's fine. But just let them do it, and you do your thing. Let them do theirs. But you take care of you and yours. You follow the Most High. Let them do theirs. And let me just give some encouragement really quickly to those who don't have a lot, because my heart is always extended to people who don't have a lot. Do not worry. You may not be in a position to afford to be able to go to Africa and to be able to build anything. I get it. The Most High gets it. Listen, guys, if a human being can understand that, you have to remember that Yahuwah is the architect of intelligence. He knows, he gets it. Don't worry about it. He will make a way how he does it when he does it. Don't worry, don't fret. He will take care of you. He will make a way for you, and you will be able to be where you need to be if you trust him. Just keep doing your thing, keep living your life for him, keep trusting in the Most High. I would say stay connected to your brothers, because your brothers and sisters, because we get it. These are your people. We are your spiritual people. We get it. You won't have to explain it to us. We already get it. And then when the time comes, you'll be able to take advantage of it. So I love you all. I love you with the love of the Messiah.
Thank you, Brother Keith. So one thing I want to add before I go to Brother Karras is no one's told you to leave. You don't have to leave. But what you can do, you can invest in those who are trying to make it where if you do have to leave, you have a soft landing, right? Brother Karras didn't want to build that infrastructure, right? And then you got the Dry Bones Project setting things up out there, setting up, boreholes for water and stuff, and things that we take for granted here that would not be there if we went right now, right? So some of y'all need to look at the future as investing in your future through others, right? You may not be able to go, but you got $1 you could give to Quest to Unite Africa and to T3ME Journey with us and Stepping Stones to Home. You got $1 that you can help contribute, right? So to make a soft landing for when because you say you believe the scriptures, right? We leaving here at some point. We going into the wilderness. Now, most of y'all don't know what the wilderness is. Just go read your Bible. It's called refugees. Brother Karras.
All right, I'm here. Shalom, family. I'm still doing a lot of work on on the background. There's we don't know what else to say. We're not trying to beat a dead horse. This is why I look at it like this. You're not giving to me. You're not giving to people. Okay? You're giving because you have been led by the Most High to give. That's it. Pray about it. Pray about it. Trust me. If this is a move of the Most High, it will succeed. And it has proven that this success is really more than than what I was actually up to um, before this last weekend started. But it's amazing to see the amount of support, the amount of the knowledge of wealth and folks, our people coming together, our brothers and sisters coming together in the continent and in the diaspora. I'm telling you, diaspora. Folks from the Netherlands, from France, from Germany, from the UK, from the Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados. These folks, they're all over. Because why? Because they know what's coming. Because the Most High has put it on their heart. I'm not gonna to sit here. I don't need to give how the Most High wants you to give. Pray about how He wants you to give. That's it. My conscience is clear from there. Give how you're led to give. Hallelujah. And if you do want to give, our Cash App right now, we're only accepting Cash App until our 501c3 becomes officially adjudicated, and we are anticipating that within the next couple of weeks. So right. I'm going to tell you, it won't be longer than April. We just got this thing started, family, literally last Monday. But our Cash App is $Q2 Q2UA 400. $Q2UA 400. It's really Quest to Unite Africa 400. So that is the initials, and that's how we're moving. So again, thank you for everybody on this panel that's provided valuable insight, because see, when you see how a move of the Most High works, he brings all the pieces together. Hallelujah.
Thank you, Brother Karras. Hugh Apocalypse, final comment.
I want to say that what I've started to realize, and even when reading the word, it says that you should help the righteous specifically, because every day, a lot of times people are contributing to helping the wicked and still asking the same question. Why are we in this position? Because majority of our money is feeding what they've created to keep us addicted. And I think it's a time, like it says in Ecclesiastes, it's a time for love and hate and etc. That this is a time where we should start reciprocating or giving that love to people who have a desire to reciprocate that, instead of chasing these ideas that people are selling to us. Because in the times we live in now, it's a lot of profits for profit, and we need to just pay more attention to people who have diligent fruit and support them more, because we are in a place where we're not desired. Just like the Messiah, he was not desired. He didn't present himself in a way that was desirable, because that was a testament of if people really believed. Similar to when he did miracles, he told people not to speak about it, not to say it, because he was really trying to make for sure people was paying attention to when he was coming. So he wanted to surprise us, more or less. And I believe we should carry that same energy with one another. Like, just function with people that really have a desire to love their brothers and sisters in this truth. And don't get attached to these organizations out here that's coming under the guise of us as a people coming together, and then they start putting in their doctrines with crystals and astrology and using your money to live the dream that they was always pursuing in secret. And no matter what people say, just know that in the end, this is not going to last forever. But it could be a little more harder on you the more you don't cut off those unnecessary attachments. Because in war, it's not about feelings. And the last thing I'm gonna say is, like, I'm into fitness, so I would say it like this: a lot of people want to practice or do the advanced techniques without learning the fundamentals. So just take it slow, because the race is not to the swift. Thank you.
Thank you, Apocalypse. Fast Nickel, final comments. I think Fast Nickel gone. All right, Fast Nickel, I'm gonna put you to the back. Final comments, Hot Sauce.
I don't have much to say. Just pretty much. Thank you for bringing this attention to the masses and to the family, and may everyone be blessed. And again, this is a great time to be a Hebrew, if considering the past 400 years. And just support where you can. If you can't come, maybe you can support Brother Carrison on the initiatives they're doing. And if you can leave. And that's all I pretty much have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Hot Sauce. So, family, my final comment is this: you have free will. Nobody's telling you to do anything. If it's not for you, it's not for you. You have free will. Like I say, isn't that great? So don't get on us if we're doing what we're called to do, if what the Most High has called us to do, right? Because here's the thing. It's no longer the time to be selfish. We have to move as one, and we have to look out for each other, and we have to support each other. And as you see the storms approaching, you need to make sure you have shelter you can run to, right? Even Yeshua says, what happens when they persecute you in one city? You run to the next. And what happened when Jerusalem was being invaded? He said, run to the mountains. But some of y'all be like, nah, we ain't got to, because God's not going to destroy Jerusalem so long as the temple's here. That's some of y'all. It is. So do me a favor, if you don't mind. Don't send me no more text. Don't comment on my walls. Don't comment under my videos and tell me I'm putting fear in anybody and telling me I'm moving ahead of God and telling me this ain't the second Exodus. You don't even know what the second Exodus is. And you don't even know what it entails leading up to the second Exodus. So as I said, you do you, I'll do me, we'll do us, and we'll work together for what we believe we're supposed to do. We're building the wall and we're not coming down. Okay. All right, panel. Thank y'all for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Hot Sauce. Thank you, Fast Nickel. Thank you, We Apocalypse. Thank you, Covenant Awakened, Brother Keith, Sister Betty, and Dee. Thank y'all for coming on. Really appreciate it. And share this video. If you like it, give us a like. All right. Give us a like. Share the video if you support this ministry. You can also give through Cash App. I had it scrolling earlier if you want to see what that is. And also, you can become a patron, even better, right? So understand we are in those times. We are in biblical times. And if you think there's nothing for you to do, you're sorely mistaken. And if you don't make preparations, you will deal with the consequences thereof. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. Love you with the love of the Messiah. And please support the Dry Bones Project and all of the other projects that we have now, Quest to Unite Africa and everything else.